Let me tell you about something that happened last week at Dallas Love Field Airport. Something that should shock you, but sadly, probably won't. In a major US airport, in front of dozens of people, a black man was falsely accused of carrying drugs and then without provocation tased by cops. This is so blatant, so unjust, it demands your attention. This is about police violence, systemic racism, and the way black lives continue to be dehumanised in the United States. And it's not just another isolated incident. This is part of a deep, ugly pattern that's been playing out for generations in the United States, where all too often we see the systemic targeting of black people by police, criminalised simply for existing in public spaces, and all too often with lethal consequences. The man in question, his name is Michael Singleton, also known as Chef Mezzie, who was just waiting to board a Southwest Airlines flight. According to eyewitnesses, someone allegedly misheard a conversation and falsely assumed something about drugs. Within moments, officers swarmed Singleton, even as he stood still, hands behind his back, fully cooperating. One of the officers deployed a taser. Singleton collapsed to the floor, screaming that he hadn't done anything wrong, and repeating his name and birthday to prove his innocence. Ultimately, his alleged crime, a warrant for a traffic ticket. He had a minor warrant related to that. But somehow, these officers treated him like he was the most dangerous man in the building. And the charges all dropped. But the trauma, that remains.
I'm trying to talk to you. You just asked me if I had cocaine. I'm not the goddamn person you understand. You asked me if I had cocaine. Now you say shit about no warrant. Tell me to calm down. Break it here. Break it. Hey man, can somebody take this? Somebody take this. I didn't do nothing. My name is Michael Singleton. You have warrant. My name is, I got a traffic warrant. My name is Michael Singleton. I want you to please take this. They arrested me for wrong reason.
That was unnecessary. That was unnecessary.
Oh shit! I didn't even do nothing! Oh shit! I can't breathe. Hey man, I got the dishes. Hey man! Somebody come!
Singleton is now lawyered up, and we should all be paying attention. This isn't new, and this isn't random. Let's be real. This is about more than one man being tased. It's about the system that assumed that without evidence, a black man near an airport gate must be a drug dealer. That decided he needed to be punished before asking questions, before verifying facts. What happened to due process? What happened to de-escalation? From the era of Jim Crow to today's militarised police departments, black Americans have never had equal protection under the law. In fact, the law has often been the weapon used to keep them in fear. This isn't about one bad cop or one misunderstanding. This is how the system is designed to treat black lives, as dangerous first and human second. Let's be honest, this isn't a rare case. George Floyd lost his life over a counterfeit note. Breonna Taylor was shot in her sleep. Tyre Nichols was unalived after being beaten by officers from his own community. Sandra Bland pulled over for a minor traffic violation in Texas. 3 days later, she was found unalive in her cell. Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old boy in Cleveland, lost his life shot within 2 seconds of police arriving. He had a toy gun. Eric Garner, choked on a New York street for allegedly selling loose cigarettes. His last words, "I can't breathe." And the list goes on. These are not isolated tragedies. This is a pattern of racist policing and deadly escalation. Black Americans are 3 times more likely to be unalived by police than white Americans. And yet, prosecutions of officers remain rare. There is no reform without accountability. There is no community safety when your skin colour makes you a target. Where are the national investigations? Where are the prosecutions? Why do police departments still have military gear, qualified immunity, and billion-dollar budgets when they keep doing this. We need federal investigations into departments with consistent abuse records. We need cops stripped of their badges and their pensions when they brutalise citizens. We need citizen oversight boards with real power. Because right now, being a black person in America means you're guilty until proven innocent. They always say he had a record, or there was a warrant, or he was resisting. But in this case, a traffic fine. Hands behind his back, no resistance, and still tased. This is what black people in America live with every day. The fear that your life can be turned upside down or ended over a rumour, a wrong look, or a racist assumption. The world watched, and many in other countries participated, when following the unaliving of George Floyd, millions marched proclaiming Black Lives Matter. And here we are, 5 years later, still watching black people brutalised live on camera. And it's why we have to keep saying it, because clearly the system hasn't heard. Nothing has changed. The pattern is clear. If we look at other major protest movements, the war in Gaza, Occupy Wall Street, and the climate protests of recent years, they all pointed to the same thing: unchecked power. Anti-Zionist protesters are now targeted and deported for peaceful protests. After the 2008 banking crash, the ultra-rich got richer. Immigrants and minorities are scapegoated. And climate activists just last month were hit with a $660 million lawsuit in the US for protesting a pipeline in 2016. The people in power will do anything to protect their interests, even if it means destroying the planet, dividing society, police brutality towards African Americans, or ICE terrorising immigrant communities. This is about the system that targets the poor, punishes the marginalised, and protects the elite. We can't let stories like this fade into the background. We have to keep the pressure up. Demand justice for Michael Singleton and for every black person brutalised by police violence. Enough is enough. The people deserve better. Black lives still matter.